just wondering what lured you to the world of power slap as a career choice. First and foremost, given that you come from a family of accomplished judo practitioners, you have a fantastic wrestling background, and you got a brown belt in BJJ. So, what was it that made you kind of drawn to power slap of all things?
Um, After I retired of judo, so I just want to correct you. I did judo, not BJJ in the past. So after I retired judo, I wanted to do something more like fun. So I was very big fan of pro wrestling. So that's why I made my move to United States and I started doing some pro wrestling shows. And then Power Step just crossed my way. You know, they invited me for the exhibition competition, and I was like, that's actually very interesting. Like, it sounds like super I don't violent, So I was like, maybe this is something what I'm looking for. So I wasn't thinking really long of before I accepted this invitation. And yeah, I just stuck in this industry and I really like it.
Cool. And what was it you were doing? Did you say you were doing judo beforehand as work?
Yeah, I did judo. I won European Championship. I got bronze medal. My father was my coach in judo, so that was my first sport. I can tell I basically grew up in the judo mat. So yeah, I really love martial arts. And every similar combat sport.
And what was the reaction from your friends and your family when you told them you were going to do power slap?
Actually, they were not really surprised because they know I like. I like the big challenges. I like everything where involved the power, the strength, because I wasn't only competing in judo. So when I was a kid, I was competing in track and field, I did handball. I tried out multiple sports, so I'm just enjoying to competing, and they know the more it's challenging and the more kind of dangerous is it, the more desire I have. So they absolutely supported it.
Of course. I mean, it's paying off. You're 3-0 with the promotion. You've got two knockouts to your name. Um, I'm just wondering what it's kind of like competing, given that it's. I've watched a little bit of it, obviously on the Fight Pass and stuff, and it seems like it's you get a slap, you get a slap, you get a slap, you get a slap. There's no
Yeah.
real way of kind of defending yourself from the slaps apart from relying on your neck strength. What's that like?
Oh, honestly, to getting slapped, it's much more painful than the boxing sparring training or something, because you have no chance to protect your face. Um, I think you need like a strong jawline, a really strong neck. Um, yeah, and strong brains to take. Yeah, it's something very special. I will say.
Yeah, of course. And what does training kind of look like going into power slap matches? Obviously, I know with kickboxing you've got sparring sessions, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you've got rolling, but how do you train for a power slap?
um, Obviously, I keep a good training performance while I'm training MMA every day. But before my slap event, I started more working on my bites. I have a special um, thing which is helping to make it stronger. I also using the bands because for the rotation, how I'm making the slap, it's not only coming from my arm, it's connected with my upper body. The upper body is connected with the legs. So it's very specific. And then very, very important to practice the target, because on the face it's really very small, so there are many fields on the slapping contents. So I would say I have to really pay more attention that how can I hit the right target.
Yeah, of course. It's like behind the back of the ears a no-go and a bit low is a
Yeah, or
no-go. And
lower or eyes. There are so many dangerous injuries you can cause, and also you can easily lose um your slap fight, if you are having so much feels,
Yeah, of course. And can the job be rewarding in time in terms of like finances, or is it just a passion that kind of drives you to do this?
Mm, I would say it was a privilege to be around Dana, because it runs under the UFC. So I would say that's definitely one part of the reason I hopped in. Also, like the self challenge, like I didn't really know how I'm going to come out, on this event, like how I'm going to as I remember the very first competition, like I didn't know how strong I'm going to slap. I didn't know how I'm going to react when I'm going to get slapped. So also the curiosity. And then after, when I did really great the exhibition competition, I was like, okay, actually it was made for me, so I'm gonna stay in.
That's good. That's good. One thing that I wanted to ask in particular was an injury that you sustained earlier this year. I read somewhere that one of your breast implants exploded. I'm just
Yes.
wondering if you could kind of tell us about how that happened and what the recovery's been like for you.
Well, it happened on the MMA training, probably. Um, I just realized that there is a very high inflammation in my body, and all my small injuries started really hurting in my body. So we tried to find out what's going on. I had many medical examination, and one of my MMA friends, she recommended me, like, hey, you have to check on your implant. Maybe that's what there is a damage, and this is what is causing the high inflammation in your body. Because honestly, I don't really remember on the training. I get multiple times kicked or punched here, but it didn't really hurt, especially when you are in the flow. So after the MRI, yeah, the doctor said that the right implant is completely damaged. And then 2 days after, one doctor immediately took it off. And I'm never going to replace the implant because it's very difficult to actually train with, boxing and everything. So I don't really mind that this bad thing happened. Um, but honestly, the recovering time from it took just 4 weeks. It was pretty easy, pretty smooth, and now I'm feeling even more myself.
Good. I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. You know, remain with it.
Thank
It's
you,
it's
thank
obviously
you.
it's a nasty thing to happen. But moving on, you're obviously taking part in your first MMA fight this weekend. You're fighting against Katalin Aranyi at Hargari Fight Night. I'm pretty sure I've probably pronounced that completely wrong. Um, but
But was you?
what's made you make the switch to MMA?
Um, because I have done many combat sport before, like wrestling, grappling. I have done some G2, and because I get involved in power slap, which is under UFC, it just started make me think like, hey, is MMA is of course the higher the how to say, the king of the combat sport. So I was like, why not? I already tried out almost every combat sport. I think MMA would be great. And also inspired me Ronda Rousey, Kyla Harrison. They both are judo fighters. So I was like, if and they did really good. So I think the circumstances that just guided me here to have desire to compete in MMA.
Yeah, of course. And what do you know about your opponent? She's a fellow Hungarian.
Yes. She's representing Romania, but yeah, she's Hungarian. I know that she's more expert with Muay Thai, and I'm more a grappler. So it's definitely going to be interesting fight. I don't want to really disappoint my fans because I was working on my striking more than 2 years. So hopefully I can show something of my new gain knowledge. But however, I was speaking with many coaches, and they said the grappler shouldn't fall in love with striking because there we are making the mistakes. We shouldn't forget what is our strength. So I try to more focus on the grappling, on the takes down, but definitely I try to I really want to win this fight, and I'm going to win this fight.
Of course, utmost belief in you. I was told that Dan that you're looking for a move to the PFL after your debut. I'm just wondering why the PFL as opposed to the UFC, given your relationship with Dana White.
Uh, I wouldn't say my goal is PFL. I would say either PFL or UFC. They are just the biggest organizations. So um, honestly, I really don't know. It's gonna be whatever the universe brings to me.
Of course, of course. And then Dan also said that you want to make the move to Misfits at some point in the future. Try your hand at boxing.
Yes, yes, yes. The
Can you?
more competition I'm going to have, the happier I am. I'm 33. I already invested more than 2 years into my striking skills, so I think it's time to competing. And Misfits, I'm a huge fan of it. For a while, I think it's not just a simple boxing league. There are. Um, More entertaining. I really love the organizations and everything, so I think it would really suit me.
Of course. And is there any big names that you're after if you made the move there? Maybe El Brook, Paige Van Zandt.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Elbrook, and I like poker. I would like to fight against her.